What is going on, guys? We are here with another Overprime video. How is everyone doing today? I'm super excited to go over some of these changes with the trial client. I haven't played too much, unfortunately, because we weren't able to get full games, so I was just spending a lot of time just in training mode and 1v1ing and just like doing weird things. I really haven't had too many proper games, but I did have a couple. Not as the new characters, unfortunately. I'm not going to go over their in-depth kits today, although I will say both of them can heavily benefit from building a lot of slowing and stuff. So I will probably be trying that stuff out. But for the most part, those characters are pretty good. I'm not sure if I think Greystone's S tier. I don't know. Adele definitely isn't, but her ult is amazing. So if you wanted to know about those opinions, then there you go. Adele, I don't know where I put her. I think B tier, but at the same time, I'm in love with her and I'm completely biased. I do think she's very viable in a lot of teamfight scenarios, especially if you have a lot of slows in CC. But they did add new items. So I'll briefly go over those new items real quickly with you guys. The first item is Star's Grace, which grants crowd control immunity for 2 seconds to the caster and nearby allies upon casting an ultimate. So you get crowd control immunity every time you ult. At first, I thought this was a direct counter to Aurora, but then I realized you had to be right next to the person, most likely. It is a 40-second cooldown now, but I thought this was an active that you actually press and you just cleanse, which we already have in the game, but this would be so much easier to use if it's just like a little AoE like Spirit's Fang. But with Aurora, it's very hard to get this off. I thought she was going to go down like a tier just because of this and not be the most broken character in the game, but although this is counterplay depending on who you are, a lot of characters can't really use this, especially supports who are sitting in the backline, except on one person. So Aurora is probably still broken S tier, although I will say this item is very good for anyone who wants to use their ultimate as peel that isn't Xena, because obviously Xena doesn't need this, but everyone else definitely does. Maybe even like Kalari, for instance, might be able to benefit. Although if you can cancel ult, that'd be a lot easier, but you can't, unfortunately. But yes, this is the first new item. I like it. I think it's good. I think it's really interesting. It also has 20% tenacity. They just start throwing tenacity on it a bunch of different items, which we'll also go over. I'm not going to go over every item change here. I'm going to go over some of the new items and then some items that I talked about. Although this video isn't really for this, but I do want to show you that just so you guys know. And then the other new item is Secret Assassination Technique, which is 2,400 gold, 50 power, 15 pen, and 5% movement speed. Upon defeating an enemy hero, increases movement speed by 30% and enters stealth mode for 5 seconds. Stealth mode is removed upon attack or hit. Now, this item, I've seen everyone just build this just to test it out, I guess. But, like, it is extremely cheap, and honestly, Revenant or anyone else of the sort can build this super easily. I mean, this item is absolutely cracked, I think, for anyone who wants to just get in and blitz a target because they become invisible. But again, everyone does have wards, but this item does seem pretty potent just because it's extremely cheap, and 15 pen and 50 power is absurdly beneficial. I mean, even first item, I can see this being picked up because there's no other item even close to this in this tier that even compares to the amount of stats this gives you. I mean, like Ghost Axe, I guess, is the next like big damage one, and it's not even close in terms of power because that 15 pen early is going to be a lot more beneficial for killing. Although you don't get the CDR or the health, that 15 plus 50 power is it's just an absurd amount of damage. I don't even know why they thought this was a good idea. Every other item coming close to this isn't close in terms of physical, so for you assassin players out there, which there isn't a lot of you, I definitely think this is going to be picked up by a lot of characters, maybe even carries for that matter, just because of the 15 pen. Revenant, I think this is just a must-have on him. Like early game, 15 pen for 2,400 gold. I mean, you could still probably just make out with Fish, which is 3,000, but 2,400 gold, if you back and come back with that, I mean, that's literally Fish right there. The same exact stats, and you could also build these three, Fish, this, and Claw, for an absurd amount of pen. So maybe carries are now broken, or any physical damage dealer who build these three items. I haven't tested them, unfortunately, like I said, but I think this item has a lot of potential. I like both the new items, but this one specifically is pretty insane, although I haven't used it, or the star. Now, some of the other item changes, I guess I'll briefly go over. Spirit's Armor has tenacity on it, so that's a thing. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have it on the live client now, but maybe I missed that change, because I have not been paying attention too much, but that was changed, and I believe, honestly, that's pretty much it. There was a couple of other changes, I think, I just don't really remember, but for the most part, nothing really major item-wise has changed that drastically. I haven't been able to notice any massive nerfs or buffs, so if you guys do know, please point it out in the comments below if you've seen anything or know anything, but nothing major from my personal experience, from testing it out or even just seeing. But yeah, anyways, Now let's move on to the actual thing I want to talk about in this video. And if you guys remember, if you do like the video, please do drop a subscribe. And before we go over these changes, just remember there is a trial client being, you could still sign up for it. I'm going to link it down below. If you want to participate, I am going to be looking for people to play customs with, because I've struggled to find a lot of people for this. You will be on EU Central, but I highly advise if you guys want to participate and test out Adele and Greystone, definitely sign up for this. You still have till the end of tomorrow. Or I guess on the end of the 25th, I believe it is 26th, and then it goes live on the 26th. So if you guys want to play, definitely sign up. I will link it below. Hurry, try to get up and just apply for that. Anyone can do it. You don't need to be a content creator. And it'll go live on the 26th. So let's play together, guys. Anyways, without further ado, let's go over some of these changes that I noticed. It's gonna be pretty brief, but for the most part, good changes to an extent, but also bad changes, and I'll go over my thoughts about this. We're not right where we want to be, but these are the lane changes and stuff which are in this. So anyways, first one is gold lane changes. So the gold that you get per lane last hits is no longer 15 for any minion. I think the lowest you can get is 20. Generally, I think in a full minion of like 6 or 7, it'd be 320s and then 324s. So it's 24, sometimes 25. I don't know if it scales at all, but you can get 20 to 24, at least in mid. And then the big ones give, I believe they give 65 now instead of 50. So you get, sometimes they get 45, I think. I don't know. It's just weird. Maybe the numbers are scuffed, but they do change. But yes, gold lane changes, they are increased. It's not massive. I'm looking for like 105 for the big ones and literally like 30 to 45 with like the smaller ones. We need some pretty drastic lane changes, especially for people who are behind. Maybe they can get like a buff depending on like where they are and behind periodically. I don't know. Also, like I said, harvesters and stuff like that would be really good. But there are positive changes for the gold in lane, so that's really nice. I'm very glad that that's in the game. They're kind of listening to us, but unfortunately, they did. I don't know if this is intentional, but they also decreased the gold per second. So we get 1 gold less per second. It was 3, now it's 2. So unfortunately, we are getting less gold over time for doing nothing, but we are getting more gold for actually being active, which also makes it easier for characters like Countess and Sereth when she's in carry. Anyone who like can't just walk up to the wave and freely clear will fall behind a lot more just because the gold per second is less. Because over the course of 30 minutes, you know, instead of getting that 1 less gold, you're getting like 1680 missing in the span of like 30-ish minutes. 1700-ish. So it's half an item you're not getting over the course of 30 minutes, but you are getting gold more consistently from laning. So again, laning much more important now. Ideally, you should be able to get full build quicker, though from my personal experience, I feel like I'm not. I don't really know why. I don't know. Again, I don't know what's going on with this. It doesn't feel like I'm getting full build quickly, but at the same time, it should be higher, I think, no matter what. But again, gold per second is reduced by 1. Honestly, they have an ARAM mode, and you should definitely be getting gold per second as 5 instead of 3 or 2. I think 5 per second would be way better. At least in ARAM, that's how it works. So that'd be really nice. And then again, like I said, laning. Again, we have 1 tower, and these other changes they made are a little confusing to me as to why they still haven't boosted gold dramatically, because it's really hard to get full build before ending the game. So the other changes they have, the jungle changes. So jungle is really easy to clear now. The health has been drastically reduced, going from like 2,000 whatever, and even the single camps are actually worth doing now because you can just kill them really fast, especially if you have a jungle blessing and like 1 damage item. But at the same time, so maybe tanks with 1 damage item might be viable now just to clear the jungle faster. I'm not sure. I haven't tested that out, but again, I mean, Zimia's is probably plenty. But yes, jungle clearing is much faster, so it's really nice. You're just gonna be clearing the jungle. Mages might be able to jungle now. Again, haven't been able to test all this stuff yet. Haven't gone to training mode to test it. So but that is a thing. I don't know about the gold changes for the jungle minions. I think they're still the same, but they also kind of like revamped where the camps stay. So a lot of the camps are just switched up. Like the single camp is now like on the side going to solo or duo, and then the other camps are just kind of like closer to the inside, the middle of the lane. So I don't know, there's a lot of shifts in the jungle, but yeah, a lot of jungle changes. But just know it is easier to jungle. So if you guys are interested in jungling, there you go. You get some easy clear camps, especially with certain characters. I mean, I was clearing camps instantly with Adele, with like 1-2 damage items. Again, not supposed to build damage on her, but it was super nice. So that's another change. So again, good changes overall, but the gold lane changes, like I said, we need a drastic increase for a game with one tower. I also think they should just add a second tower personally and expand the map so it's harder to get into the enemy jungle, because again, invasion's still being super huge. And again, jungling should also be very, very potent when you have the jungle blessing, you should just straight up get a lot of gold. But anyways, like I said, that's just my opinions. Jungle changes and gold lane changes, pretty solid overall, but again, the gold per second in the global economy is lower, so unfortunately they should just raise that to 5 instead of 2, and then still boost gold farm even more than they did dramatically, and then add other sources of gold like harvesters and better bounty systems and objectives and stuff like that. But they also have portal changes, so the portal on solo now goes to the middle of the map into the next objective. So if you're in solo lane, you take that left lane portal, you actually go to the middle of the map instead of the far right of the map if you're on the left side, and then vice versa for the right to the left. You basically, solo lane portal or dual lane portal will take you to the objective that you're not closest to. So again, if you're on the opposite side, if you're by the prime spirit deer, for instance, and you take the portal on the far left side, if you're on that side, then you will go to the center instead of the far right, if that makes sense. So again, that's a little confusing, but basically, the farther you are away, the more you'll be teleported to the closest the farthest away objectives. So again, you're not going to be teleported to the other side of the map anymore, which is a good change. It basically makes it so you can get to objectives faster, but you're not going to be able to gank as easy. I think that was a big problem, was that you would just take a portal and then you'd be able to gank. Now you actually have to rotate basically to the center of the map to get to the other lane, which is really nice. It also makes it a lot more committing when you're actually trying to rotate out of lane. You can't just be laning, clear a wave, and then instantly teleport to the other side of the map. I think it did make it a little bit unhealthy, and I did say that they should just remove the portals personally, but this is a better change. I do like the system more, at least one of the portals. I think there's still too many portals personally, but teach their own. This is okay. This is fine. I like it. Good changes. So another change, a big change that I really love, is Scylla. Scylla now spawns, instead of spawning at 5, she spawns at 3. So 3 objectives equals Scylla. It doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters which way you go. I don't think it does, actually. I think 3 objectives no matter what team you're on, because I'm pretty sure we had 1 and they had 2, and then Scylla spawned. I'm not entirely sure about that, though. But regardless, Scylla spawns at 3 primes, at least if you get on your team or their team, which is really, really nice because it makes the objective a lot more worth it. I don't know if Scylla overcaps. If you get Scylla multiple times, does it give you extra stats? I don't think so, but it is really nice that she spawns earlier. You're going to be seeing a lot more Scylla in your games, so that's really nice. Overprime also spawns earlier. Instead of spawning at 20 minutes, you spawn at 17:30, which is insane. I don't like this change specifically because we don't have enough gold to compensate those fast orbs, because if you go for orb early, that means you're trying to end the game. That being said, I'm almost positive it no longer does damage to the core. Don't quote me on that, but from my personal experience, again, I didn't get to test a lot. I know I should go in training and test it, but when I saw, there was no damage being done to the core on multiple orb grabs. So your inhibitors will still go down, but your like they wanted to change, the orb prime no longer does damage to the core. So there you go, no more damage to the core. Hopefully, I will test it out further and let you know and update you. I'll put a little edit here or something if it's not true, but as far as I'm aware, when I was playing, it did not do damage to the core at all, so that's super nice. And then the last thing, I guess, is just the minions seem to hit a little bit harder from my personal experience, at least in the jungle. I feel like I was getting hit more with no lifesteal or no sustain. And then also, I was able to end a game with personally having Jon Snow himself watching. He was a little sick on stream, unfortunately, but he was just spectating us with his 300 ping as well. And we were playing, and I was Seraph carry, and I was able to kill my dual laner, and then just go straight to the core in 1 minion wave to take the inhibitor, and then go straight to the core, and then took 3 minion waves to end it. And I think at this point I'm at like 3-ish items, I think it was. So 3 items, and I was able to end the game pretty reasonably with no one paying attention to my lane. So you have to pay attention to your lane now, I believe, because the minions seem to hit a lot harder. At least in 1 full wave, I was able to take an inhibitor with 3 items as full damage Seraph. Again, very, very high commitment. Wukong is going to be a menace if this is true. If he gets 1 wave into any tower, it's just pretty much gone. Or even Orb Prime to help to siege a lane, or even getting Deer for that matter, which boosts minion damage. A lot of things are really, really just helping to end the game with little gold changes though, which is unfortunate. So my feedback, if you guys are watching this at Netmarble or Solive, please just boost gold farm universally per second to 5 or 8. Honestly, just make it a drastic change. Even if you have to nerf it later, I'd rather a game end faster and you kind of steamroll with more gold. And again, you could add a lot of catch-up mechanics and stuff like that later on after looking at the balance. But again, not getting full build in these games aren't fun. Personally, I think you should add a second tower because the high commitment with no towers, after getting the first tower, maybe you get more gold per wave, who knows? But regardless, I think you should have 2 towers and then also just boost gold farm in general, especially if you're going to have Overprime spawn earlier, just because we're ending the game faster. So definitely want those like gold changes a little bit to be more drastic. Not what I'm looking for. So everyone, hopefully you guys resonate with me when it comes to the gold changes. Please, please, please buff it. 100% need it to be a lot more valuable, I guess, to still lane more than it is, because right now, especially with the reduction per second of gold gain, it just isn't well balanced, considering the game will end a lot faster with the Overprime and Scylla being a thing. The games are just going to be a lot shorter than they were. So please, that being said, the damage to the core isn't a thing. So again, characters like Wukong are going to prosper more and stuff like that. And just rushing the core is going to be a lot more beneficial, especially if you have a solid wave. Split pushing might be more beneficial. But again, 2 towers, please. More gold. That's all I ask. Other than that, server instability, hard to see because I was on EU Central and the whole server is shit. Although I didn't play Xena, I don't think I wanted to. I couldn't even play Sereth properly because it was really bad. 150 ping. I'll try a VPN when the trial goes live for you guys, but again, make sure to sign up for that. But hopefully the server problems are fixed. I guess I'll try Xena when I have a chance to see if the teleporting backwards even on high ping is happening, and if it isn't, then I guess we know the culprit wasn't actually the server and it was actually a in-game client thing, which it might be. It's just so hard to tell. I think it is the server, so 150 ping is really hard to kind of pinpoint what the issue is with Xena. But yes, hopefully that's fixed and the other server issues are fixed in general. I can't wait to go back to 28 ping when Greystone releases, and then we have like 3 weeks probably until Adele comes out, which I am very excited for, and I literally cannot wait. I will be playing a lot more of Adele when she does come out, for sure. But again, hopefully we can get some games in the trial build with her and test her out so I can get a guide before she even goes to the live client. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know this was kind of all over the place, but these are all the changes that I've kind of experienced personally. There might be more. I might upload some videos of the ARAM and the other mode if I can get a full party for both the modes personally. At least when the trial goes live. ARAM is a lot of fun. I do like the ARAM mode quite a bit. It is really fun. It's just as you expect with ARAM, you know, like just 5v5 random. You could swap characters. You roll once, you get 1 roll, and you can take any of your teammates' characters. So it is really nice. So yep, that is a really fun mode. Definitely enjoy it. Can't wait to see more of that. Hopefully it doesn't screw the player base over, but it's a fun mode for sure. The Murdoch mode I haven't tried, but I like the map for Murdoch's mode. I've seen it played. I just don't. It's just not fun to me. I'm not a fan. All you can do is ult in that mode, so it's like, it's whatever. But yep, ARAM's here. Really fun, really fun. We'll hopefully get some videos out for those 2 different game modes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'm live soon. I don't really want to stream the trial until I can get a full game. I don't want to sit here for hours just doing absolutely nothing. Just not a lot of fun to me personally. So we'll definitely be live on Thursday when we can get some games going. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.